Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're journeying into the heart of the Middle East to uncover the story of a resilient and influential minority group, the Druze. Scattered across the treacherous political landscapes of Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan, the 1 million Druze worldwide find their fate constantly shaped by the volatile geopolitics of the region. Their story is a compelling saga of adaptation, fierce independence, and pragmatic survival. The Druze call themselves al-Muwahhidun, which translates to the monotheists or Unitarians. This name gets to the very core of their faith, the absolute oneness of God. Their religion is a fascinating syncretic faith that emerged in 11th century Fatimid Egypt. It weaves together elements from Ismaili Shia Islam, Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, and other philosophies. While they honor prophets like Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, the Druze have their own distinct theology and practices, which are kept secret from outsiders. This secrecy even extends within their own community. The uninitiated, known as the juhal or the ignorant, are not privy to the faith's deepest teachings. These esoteric secrets, contained in their holy texts called the Epistles of Wisdom, are guarded by the initiated, the uqqal, or the knowledgeable. This secrecy is a product of a long history of persecution. From their beginnings, the Druze faced oppression from various ruling powers, which drove them into the mountainous regions of the Levant. These mountains became their strongholds, fostering a powerful sense of community and a tradition known as taqiyya, the practice of concealing one's true beliefs to avoid harm. This history has instilled a deeply pragmatic approach to politics, often leading them to align with whomever is in power to ensure their community's survival. To truly understand the Druze, we must look at the wider geopolitical game played in the Middle East. The rights and political power of minority groups are often tied to the strategic interests of regional and international powers. Minorities can become pawns, supported or suppressed by external actors to advance their own agendas. The very concept of a minority in the region is politically charged. When modern nation-states were formed in the 20th century, borders were often drawn arbitrarily, leaving many ethnic and religious groups on the wrong side of a new line in the sand. These new states, striving for national unity, often pursued policies of assimilation or even persecution. In this context, the struggle for minority rights is never just a domestic issue. It's deeply tangled with regional power dynamics, sectarian rivalries, and global foreign policy. The Druze are a perfect case study of this complex reality. So let's break down their situation country by country. We'll start in Lebanon, where the Druze, despite being only about 5.5% of the population, have historically been political kingmakers. Concentrated in the scenic Shaf Mountains, they've been a major force, often tipping the scales in the country's delicate sectarian power-sharing system. For decades, the most dominant figure has been Walid Jumblat, leader of the Progressive Socialist Party, which was founded by his father Kemal. Walid Jumblat is a master of shifting alliances. He has sided with Syria and against Syria, with one constant goal: protecting the interests of the Druze community. The Lebanese political system is built on a power-sharing agreement that allocates top jobs to specific religious groups. The president must be a Maronite Christian, the prime minister a Sunni Muslim, and the Speaker of Parliament a Shia Muslim. While the Druze have traditionally held the powerful position of Chief of Staff of the army, they are locked out of the top 3 posts, leading to a sense of marginalization. The rise of Hezbollah, the powerful Iran-backed Shia group, has made things even more complicated. Jumblat's relationship with Hezbollah is a tense dance of occasional cooperation and frequent opposition to their growing influence. The Lebanese Druze are constantly navigating the treacherous currents of sectarian politics and the wider regional rivalry between Iran and its adversaries. Now let's travel to Syria, home to the largest Druze population of around 700,000. Most live in the southern province of Suada, an area so closely associated with them it's often called Jabal al-Druze, or the Mountain of the Druze. The Syrian Druze have a proud history of resistance, most famously the Great Syrian Revolt of 1925 to 1927. This uprising against the French mandate was led by the charismatic Druze hero Sultan Pasha al-Atrash. Under the rule of the al-Assad family, the Druze were largely co-opted by the Ba'athist regime. In exchange for loyalty, they received a degree of protection and stability. But the Syrian civil war, which began in 2011, shattered this arrangement. The Druze tried to remain neutral, but they were targeted by extremist groups like ISIS and the al-Nusra Front, who view them as heretics. This forced them to form local militias to defend their homes. The recent collapse of the Assad regime has thrown the Syrian Druze into a new era of uncertainty. They face a new government in Damascus and are deeply wary of its intentions. Tensions have already ignited between Druze and Bedouin groups in the south, sparking fears of a wider sectarian conflict. Their spiritual leaders are proceeding with extreme caution, demanding guarantees for their rights and autonomy. This situation has attracted international attention. Israel, which shares a border with Syria, has warned Damascus not to harm the Druze and has even conducted airstrikes in their defense, leading to accusations that Israel is using the Druze to create a buffer zone. Iran, a key backer of the former Assad regime, is also watching closely, trying to maintain its influence. The Syrian Druze are at the epicenter of a geopolitical storm, their future hanging in the balance. Next, we cross into Israel, where the relationship between the state and its 143,000 Druze citizens is unique and fraught with complexity. Unlike other Arab citizens of Israel, Druze men are required to serve in the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF. This mandatory service has forged what's known as a covenant of blood between the Jewish and Druze communities. Druze soldiers have fought and died alongside their Jewish counterparts in all of Israel's wars. In return, the Druze have gained recognition and have risen to high ranks in the military and politics. But this integration has created a profound identity crisis. The Israeli state often holds them up as a model minority, attempting to separate them from the broader Palestinian Arab community. This leaves many Druze torn. They are culturally and linguistically Arab, yet they are expected to show loyalty to a state that is often in conflict with the Arab world. Tensions boiled over with the controversial 2018 nation-state law. This law defined Israel as the nation-state of the Jewish people, but failed to guarantee equal rights for non-Jewish citizens. Many Druze felt betrayed, viewing it as a demotion of their status as equal citizens. The Druze in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights have a different story. They are technically Syrian citizens, and for decades have maintained their Syrian identity, largely refusing Israeli citizenship. However, the collapse of the Assad regime has caused a shift, with more Golan Druze now applying for an Israeli passport. The Israeli Druze are caught in a constant struggle between their loyalty to the state and their Arab identity, a dilemma amplified by the recent events in Syria. Finally, we look at Jordan, home to the smallest Druze community in the region, with around 20,000 people. Here, the Druze are well integrated and have a long history of loyalty to the Hashemite monarchy. In fact, the very first Prime Minister of Transjordan, Rashid Talia, was a Druze, showing their early and significant role in the state's formation. The Jordanian government officially classifies the Druze as Muslims, and unlike in Israel and Lebanon, they don't have separate religious courts. They have largely avoided the intense political pressures faced by their brethren in neighboring countries. Still, they maintain strong kinship ties across borders and share the concerns of the wider Druze community. The fate of the Druze is not just a domestic issue. External powers play a significant role. Israel sees its Druze citizens as a loyal component of its security forces, while positioning itself as the protector of Syrian Druze, a move that serves its strategic interest of creating a friendly buffer zone. But many Druze are suspicious, fearing they are being used as pawns. Iran's influence is felt most in Lebanon and Syria. As the main supporter of Hezbollah and the former Assad regime, Tehran has tried to bring the Druze into its sphere of influence. But Druze leaders like Walid Jumblat have often resisted, vocally opposing Iranian dominance. Regional rival Saudi Arabia has also cultivated ties with the Druze, supporting anti-Iranian factions in Lebanon. And the United States has played a more indirect role, supporting the Lebanese state and calling for the protection of minorities in Syria, though many feel it hasn't done enough. To understand the Druze, we must also know their icons. There is Sultan Pasha al-Atrash, the Syrian national hero who led the revolt against the French. There is Kamal Jumblat, the brilliant Lebanese intellectual who founded the Progressive Socialist Party, and his son, Walid Jumblat, the ultimate political survivor. And there is Asmahan, born Amal al-Atrash, the Syrian singer and actress who became a cultural legend in the Arab world, her glamorous life and mysterious death adding to her mystique. In conclusion, the Druze of the Middle East stand at a critical crossroads. The collapse of the old order in Syria, the deep crisis in Lebanon, and the identity struggles in Israel have created a future that is deeply uncertain. Their survival will depend on their remarkable resilience, their sharp political acumen, and their ability to stay united against sectarian division and external pressure. The Druze are not passive victims. They are active agents constantly negotiating their place in the world. Their story is a powerful testament to the tragic, complex interplay of identity, politics, and power in the Middle East. It's often said that, as the Druze go, so goes the Middle East. Watching their path forward may just give us the clearest view of where this turbulent region is headed next.